Hey guys, Simon here. I just wanted to do this quick video. I just finished a session, but one of my clients has posted in my VIP group a really good question, which I think is probably a common one for a lot of people at this time of year, especially wanting to up the promotions and campaigns. And the question was, I want to put some flyers out there. I know there's a lot of debate about, do they work? I'm thinking about putting 5,000 flyers out, and I want to target men and women for personal training. Really good question. So here's the thing. A lot of the time we can think it's the actual strategy that doesn't work, but it's actually what is part of the strategy that may not be quite correct. For example, you may have put some flyers out in the past, they may not have worked. You may have put 500, 5,000, 10,000 out, and you haven't got a response from that. Therefore, the instant thought is that flyers don't work. What we really have to understand is it's actually about the targeting of the flyer. It's also about what is actually on the flyer, and also how we decide to segment that flyer in terms of the direct response. Direct response meaning we want someone to take an action straight away, but also, especially with flyers and direct mail campaigns, it's important to be repetitive, because sometimes it can be chucked under under something else, and it's got to be seen sometimes multiple times. Of course, you're going to pick some people up straight away, others not. Here's one of the key things: you want to test small and then roll out bigger. Rather than putting out 5,000 or 10,000 flyers, put out 500 to 1,000. Test them in a small area, ideally where where the most disposable income is, and that way you are going to target the best area. The second thing to know is also know who your biggest market is. So if you're mainly training women, you might want to target men and women, but it's going to be much more direct to that market if you decide to. Members announcement. We'll just wait for that. I'm sure you enjoyed that. So if you mainly train females, then it would make sense to put out a flyer directly targeted at females, because then you can talk about things like belly fat, and therefore, if you're sending out 5,000 flyers, the majority of women want them, but then you're trying to attract men too, then it's going to be not so laser focused. The next thing is, what do you offer? Okay, it's good to put your before and after pictures on there first of all, but also you might want to invite them into a free trial, you might want to invite them into a free session, but ideally drive them somewhere where you can grab their details and start to market to them over time via email, start to build value and trust, and that way you're not going instantly for the sale saying, this is how much I charge per session. And if you just checked out my blog post I put up today, I've done a blog post called The Death of Pay Per Session Personal Training. Anyway, hope that helps on flyers. So key steps: test small, be laser focused on the target market, make sure that you try and target the area with which is known as affluent in your area. Make sure that you are repetitive, so maybe put out a few times, and also another key tip is check the response. Make sure you've got something on that flyer which lets you know that that's a response for that particular flyer, because you've actually got to look at the return on investment. If you spend X amount on the flyers and you get one client, but that client brings you X amount over a period of time, then you've got to think of the lifetime value. And that's what many trainers don't do, is they put out flyers, think of the immediate cost, but they're not thinking of the long-term value, even if they signed up 1 or 2 clients. And especially if you teach what I teach, which is selling high-end stuff, so getting better at selling, and then selling bigger packages instead of the smaller stuff. I work all high-end stuff with my clients instead of the lower end. That's why I earn a lot more, and they're a lot happier and have much more freedom to do what they want to do. Then you've got to also look at the back end, because if you're running a flawed business model on the back end, then you can put as many flyers out as you like, and so the response is going to be low. It's the same as low-end ebooks, right? You're selling £7, £7, £7. Well, if you're selling an online product for 1,000, then the advertising spend you could put out can be completely different. Okay, so you have to think about what's going on in the back end of the business, aside from all the lead gen stuff too, which is of course important, but it's not the only step. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video, and I'll do more of these after sessions, and hopefully no more announcements. Take it easy.